Hello guys, welcome to the channel. We are live now. I hope that I've managed to fix all of the issues. Yeah, I've managed to fix all of the issues, which is great. I hope that you are hearing. Yeah, okay, perfect. So, what we're going to talk about today is is Max Verstappen the second pilot in Red Bull? Let me just copy the link. Okay. Okay. Okay, perfect. I'm going to try to insert the chat. Just give me 1 sec, please. Okay. Should be this one. Okay, let's see. Okay, it's not this one. Okay. Perfect. Let me just... Hello guys, welcome to the channel. What I'm currently recording is a stream, so you know that we're being live for the first time, and I'm going to do more live sessions where we are going to discuss different drivers, different topics from Formula 1, different constructors, and so on and so on. So for today, the topic is Red Bull and particularly Max Verstappen and of course Checo Perez. As you know, we are now past the Australian Grand Prix, where Max DNF'd again. Checo managed to finish the race. There were no issues with the car of the Checo Perez, and since the beginning of the season, we saw 2 Red Bulls, 1 AlphaTauri, DNF in the first race. They all had power and engine issues. Yuki Tsunoda together with now Max Verstappen and Fernando Alonso are going to use third engine or even fourth engine, I believe, because as you know, Fernando started with an engine which in Jeddah he had to change it, and after Jeddah he had to change the new engine as well. So his 3 engines, he has 3 engines used already. Same goes for Yuki Tsunoda, same goes for Max Verstappen. Red Bull powertrains are definitely having an issue with the performance of their engine, not with the speed of their engine, but with the performance of their engine. It just cannot last a whole race, this engine, which is Christian Horner said that he prefers to fix a broken engine than to fix a slower car and make it a faster car, which is, I don't know. He lost a lot of points from Max, and Max actually finished only 1 race from the last 3, which is not, it's an issue, but it's still in the beginning of the season, so I suppose that there is a lot of work that the Red Bull powertrains are going to have in order to fix the engine, but they have the time. It's not like in the middle of the season where it's going to be more difficult to fix it, because in the middle of the season you already know that you are standing in this particular position where you need to fight for first or second place or whatever. But in the beginning of the season, nothing is clear already. Toto Wolff said that Mercedes are going to change, to make a huge changes for Imola next week. So I believe that we are going to see a lot of improvement from the side of the Mercedes, but currently the topic is Max Verstappen and Red Bull. So we're going to stick to that. Okay. So, is Red Bull a reliable fast car? It's definitely a fast car, but is it a reliable car? If this issue is if the issue that Max had in Australia is different from this in Bahrain, then we are talking that this Red Bull powertrain engine has a multiple issues, not just that particular issue which we can fix or and is going to be ready after 1 or 2 races. But if this engine has multiple issues, which are overheating the engine itself, which are having problems with, I think that the first DNF that was in Bahrain was an issue with there was fuel leaks or something like that. And in the race in Australia, you know that when Max Verstappen stopped the car, he told that his engine area that there are some weird smell, like funny smell come, and because when your car is actually on fire from the backside of the car, the racing driver does not know that the car is on fire. The first thing that he experiences is loss of power, smell, and the last thing that he would know that there is a problem with the car is to feel any heat from the actual fire, because as you know, the drivers are wearing suits that are resistant to fire, and this is going to be the last thing that they're going to feel that something is wrong. Sorry about that. So I have no doubt that Red Bull are going to fix their issue with the engine. I have no doubt about that. But if they don't do it before Imola, which is next week, and if they eventually lose more points there because of DNF of either of the Red Bulls, this is going to be a huge issue for the Constructor Championship. And everyone knows that is somehow connected to Formula 1, that the most of the money from sponsors, from different deals, from owners, come when you're at the top of the Constructor Championship. The Constructor Championship is where money are being generated for the teams from sponsors. Yeah, of course there are different contracts. I mean, a lot of sponsors prefer to have a driver champion for a particular team. But if you are a sponsor for an F1 team, let's say you have a company and you want to sponsor an F1 team, you would love to see both of the cars to do well and to have the car with your logo of your company on the top of the Constructor Championship. That is what you're going to want to see. This being said, I would like to comment more about the last DNF of Max Verstappen, because he lost a lot of points there. He's currently, as you see on this driver standings, he is on 6th place with 25 points, and those 25 points came from the only race that he managed to finish. Yes, he finished it first, but it was the only race that he managed to finish. It's interesting to ask, how is actually Checo Perez finishing the races without any issue of the car? Is Max doing something wrong? And this is a possibility, because Lewis Hamilton actually had an issue with overheating the car, and he couldn't keep the pace of George Russell in the last laps in Australia, where he told his race engineer that they put him in a bad position or something like that. He didn't mean to offend his team or to make them feel bad for something, but he thought that this comment was made purely because the car was overheating, and he couldn't reach the pace of George Russell. But and this makes you think, what if the Red Bull is actually overheating, but Max is using the full power of the car, and he's not slowing even for a second in order to keep the car cool. This is a possibility, of course. We will never know, but considering that Checo Perez is finishing his race and there is absolutely no issue with his car, considering that both Alpha Tauris are finishing the race, and this is Max's second DNF from 3 races. Yeah, we saw Pierre Gasly's car that was on fire in the Bahrain Grand Prix, and this could be the same issue, I mean, with overheating the car, because Australia and Bahrain, they are very hot circuits, very hot countries, where this issue can happen. So this is one of the possibilities for the DNF. Of course, it's very strict when it comes to F1 engine issues. There is not that much of information coming out. Eventually, Christian Horner or Helmut Marko are going to come out with, they're going to have to say something on this matter, because the journalists and the press are going to ask them what is the issue, why is Max DNFing so much, and stuff like that. But they are not going to get in much details, I'm sure about that. So we are not going to know what was the exact issue. So for me, the possibility that the car is overheating and for me, the main thing that I believe is about the DNS of the Red Bull powertrains car is that the cars are overheating too much and the drivers are pushing them because it's the beginning of the season. They want to score big points. They want to start the season good, and the cars are overheating. It's a new era of the cars. I mean, those cars are not like from last year. They don't know, the drivers don't know how the cars are going to feel on track, on colder tracks, on hot tracks. I mean, in hot countries, in cold countries. Even though the season started, the cars are still being tested. I mean, like I said, it's a brand new car. It's totally different from the last year. So things like that are happening to Red Bull, that are happening to AlphaTauri, that Ferrari engines also broke. The engine of Bottas in Jeddah, the engine of actually Haas never had an issue with the engine. I was about to say Haas, but they never had an issue. Yeah, definitely Ferrari is more reliable than Mercedes and Red Bull powertrains. Why do I say Mercedes? Mercedes managed to finish off their races, but the engine is not performing that well. You see, where is the Mercedes AMG Petronas team currently standing? Yeah, George Russell is second in the driver championship. Lewis Hamilton is fifth, but what happened in Jeddah? Lewis Hamilton was 16 on Q3. He exits, Q3, Q1. And George Russell is actually managing to keep a strong pace. But the car is very slow on the straights. I mean, mainly the other drivers are gaining advantage of the Mercedes car on the straights. And you know that Mercedes has another issue, which is like the car is a bit unstable. Let me just turn on this. And the car is a bit unstable on the corners, on the exit of the corners. The back of the car is not keeping it on track. But yeah, here is the advantage of Mercedes. Like, they have two great drivers. Lewis Hamilton, which is together with Sebastian Vettel, the most experienced guys in Formula 1 now, and he won't let the car slide like other drivers do. So, yeah, you're going to tell me now that Sebastian Vettel is actually having a lot of issues, but the Aston Martin is totally different from any other car, I believe. I mean, the Aston Martin is very beautiful if you watch it like only from the outside, but it's a disastrous car. It's a one step above the last year's Haas car. This is my opinion about this year's Aston Martin car. But like I said, today we are going to talk about Red Bull. Let me just open a few statistics in here. Meanwhile, you can drop a comment. If you want to drop a comment, you have to subscribe to the channel, and we can discuss anything that you want later in the stream. Okay, so just give me a second, please. What happened interesting in Australia is actually what the McLarens did was quite insane, because we know in the first race in Bahrain they were like terrible, absolutely terrible. I mean, Danny Rick started the race from P18, which is I believe that he's not used to that starting position. And they finished. Danny Rick finished 16. There was an upgrade when they get to Jeddah. Lando Norris finished P7, and in Australia they managed to finish 6th and 7th, I believe, or 7th and 8th. I'm pretty sure it was something like that, which is incredible upgrade for McLaren. So, okay, let's return back to the Red Bull. And what is most interesting about Red Bull is actually Sergio Perez going to be the main driver for this year, which sounds crazy when you said it, but Sergio Perez is fourth in the Drivers' Championship, 30 points. Max Verstappen is 25. They are very close to each other, but what if Checo Perez managed to finish in front of Verstappen at Imola? What is going to happen in Red Bull? Is Christian Horner going to stick to Sergio Perez and or eventually Christian Horner can let them race to Checo Perez and Max Verstappen and to eventually see which driver is going to score more points. But something tells me that in Red Bull there is a first driver and a second driver. It's not like Ferrari, what Mattia Binotto said in the beginning of the season, that they're going to let Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc just race, and they won't favoritize first and second driver. They won't have that. So, is this the same for Red Bull? I don't believe so. I mean, last year was clearly Max Verstappen's year. I mean, yeah, Checo Perez, it was his first year in Red Bull. He didn't have a feel for the car still. But what is interesting to me is that Checo Perez said in the middle of the season last year that for this year he is going to fight to be a world champion. I'm not sure if Christian Horner or Helmut Marko are going to allow that to happen. And don't get me wrong, Checo is a legend, like most of you know, but I don't think that Red Bull are going to give Checo that opportunity. I think they're much more behind Max than himself. And this is quite obvious to me because Max won his first title. He's like 24 years of age. Checo is 32. Checo is incredible driver, incredible. He did insane job last year to help Max, if you remember. But can Checo actually fight for a title? This is a topic that we can discuss in totally different stream. I mean, it's going to take a lot of time to go throughout of the components about this topic. So, okay, so give me a second, please. Okay. Okay. So guys, drop a comment if you believe that there is a system in Red Bull that they are having a number one or number two driver. What do you believe that is the situation within the team? Do you think that they are going to risk they're going to risk Sergio Perez for Max Verstappen this year, or is going to be the opposite? They're going to risk Max Verstappen for Sergio Perez because Sergio Perez in Jeddah, wow, F1 were showing the Charles Leclerc fast lap. Out of nowhere, Checo Perez made an insane lap where he get pole position, and he started the race very well. He was like 3 seconds in front of Leclerc before that safety car, before Latifi changing the direction of the race once again. Checo was very stable. He was standing on top and he had insane pace. Charlotte couldn't keep that pace. I mean, he was 3 seconds behind for like a few laps before this, when Checo Perez boxed, and there was safety car after that. I don't know. For me, Max is going to score a lot of points if his car does not DNF. That is obvious. I mean, this is clearly obvious because in Bahrain he was second, in Australia he was second. If he finished the race, this is 36 points. I mean, on his current 25 points, if you add 36 points, this is getting him 61 points, 10 points behind Leclerc, which is, I mean, 10 points difference is nothing, absolutely nothing. But the current difference is quite huge. I don't know how Max is going to win 2 races, and Leclerc must not finish in top 10 for 2 races to drop this difference. I don't know how is that going to happen. And as you know, Ferrari, and what Mattia Binotto said, which is insane, is that, well, Ferrari actually still does not show the full potential of their car. They add 5 more horsepower for the race in Australia to their car, and Mattia Binotto said that for Imola they're going to improve even more the car, the power of the car, which to me is, I have nothing to say about that, because currently Ferrari is having a huge advantage over the other teams. I mean, the car is absolutely superb, and yeah, on the start of Australia, Carlos Sainz couldn't handle the car on the hard tires, but this is quite normal for me. As you know, Lewis Hamilton in Bahrain, when they put him the hard tires, he was like on ice, and I don't know where is the issue with that. Is it with the tires, or is it with the new cars, and for the actual setting of the new car? I have no idea, but hard tires on some of the cars are like being on ice. And just for a second, I'm going to talk about Alex Albon for his insane tire management. I've never seen 56 or 57 laps on the same compound. I've never seen something like that. And his pace was insane, actually. The pace was there because he managed to keep the same pace with those old tires, and he managed to go in the pits to change to soft tires and to finish the race in points, on top 10 in points. I don't think that many drivers can do that. Definitely no. Max Verstappen cannot do that because he's way too aggressive on his tires. The Red Bull is having issue with the tire management because, I mean, it's the setting of the car where Helmut Marko said that the Red Bull is hurting the tires way too quickly than the other cars, and graining is, I mean, was it in Jeddah? Yeah, it was in Jeddah where Max Verstappen started complaining about graining on his tires after like 12 laps on medium compound. So the Red Bull is fast, but when it comes to keeping the tires tires temperature, it's different to the other cars, because Max is quite often complaining about when there is a safety car that he cannot get much heat into the tires. So I believe that the Red Bull is very fast, but there is some problems that they need to fix. And yeah, pretty much I believe that we covered all of the topics around the Red Bull. It's only 3 races. There have only been 3 races. So let me just put that thing on the chair. So guys, if you want, put a comment to discuss something, or I'm going to end up the stream here. Don't be shy. Like I said, drop a comment in the comment section, and we're going to discuss everything. Okay, I'm going to wait for a few seconds, and if you don't have anything to say, we're going to close the stream. It's Nikola Pashov, one of my top subscribers. Okay, I'm going to include the chat in the. I'm going to upload this video, so I'm going to include the chat. And Nikola Pashov is asking, my friend, do you think Mercedes might get competitive enough to challenge Ferrari and Red Bull at Italy with the new floor and twin changes they will be making on their car? What is funny, I found it funny at least, is in the beginning of the season, if you remember, Günther Steiner, the team principal of Haas, said when he saw the Mercedes actually and the radiators on the car, that they were actually put vertically, not horizontally, he said that that was the first thing that they excluded from the plans when building the Haas. He was very surprised that Mercedes are using this design of the radiators, and he actually turned out to be right about that. I don't know, because in the first and the second race, Haas was very competitive, and it was even faster than Mercedes. So I believe that Mercedes got something wrong from the very beginning of building their car. As you see, the how Ferrari has the radiators placed, how Red Bulls have their radiators placed, and the side pods. It's completely different to the Mercedes. I mean, I believe that they've missed something, and for Imola, what I believe is that there, of course, still it's 7 times or 8 times was a constructor championship Mercedes. They do know how to create a fast car. They do know how to. If they eventually start the season with not that fast car, they know how to improve and how to make it faster. As you know, the last season when the race was in Brazil, when they changed the engine of Lewis Hamilton, I think they made some additional improvements of the car. Lewis was unstoppable, absolutely unstoppable. From Brazil to the end of the year, he was absolutely unstoppable, and nobody could reach anywhere closer his pace. So, what I think is Mercedes are very unpredictable, and I do still believe that they are the best constructor out there. So if they cannot fix all of their issues until Imola, and if they make like 5th or 6th place in Imola with George Russell, Lewis Hamilton, I think they are going to start developing their car for the next year, which Toto Wolff actually said that if they don't manage to create enough improvements for the car for this year, that they're going to start focusing on the next year. But I don't think Mercedes are going to risk this year for like like Ferrari did for a car for the next year. So I think Mercedes are going to do some improvements of the car, but I don't think that they're going to be that significant. I don't think that they're going to change that much of components from the car. Fernando Alonso had his floor changed for Australia, and there was a huge improvement. Yeah, he crashed the car, but on the lap that he crashed the car, he was about to take pole position, which and because he had the second sector with record time, and the third sector he was keeping the pace, and I was pretty sure he's going to take pole position. So I don't know. We can only just wait and see what is going to happen in Imola. As you know, Imola is having a very long start-finish DRS zone. It's all going to be a straight line speed there, and I don't think that Mercedes still have the straight line speed because of the porpoising. Ferrari somehow are fast enough, even though that their car is jumping like crazy, but they do have the speed. So it's very interesting to follow how everything is going to happen this season, because I believe if Mercedes managed to fix their porpoising, and I believe that this is going to have something in common with the change of the new floor, like you said. If they manage to fix that issue, I think that the car is going to be way more stable, it's going to be way more faster, and I think they can this improvement could make them a top 3, top 2 team again, because currently, like I said in previous video, for me the top 3 teams are Red Bull, Ferrari, and I don't think Mercedes are top 3. I think Alpine is very good car currently. They just had Alonso DNF'd, had to retard the car in Saudi Arabia. He crashed in the qualification in Australia. He had a lot of bad luck, and that cost them a lot of points. Because if you can see on the driver standings, Esteban Ocon is 7th, and where is Fernando? Actually, I love Fernando. Yeah, Fernando Alonso is 14th with only 2 points, but the car is very fast for me. The Alpine is very fast. You can see that this was purely bad luck for Fernando, because he had insane pace in Jeddah, he had good pace in Australia. In the qualifications, only bad luck. Esteban Ocon is a very reliable driver. I don't know how, but his 7th or 8th position he's always there. I mean, nothing can stop him from top 10. And yeah, I think if you put George Russell and Lewis Hamilton in an Alpine car, I think that they are going to be very close to the top 1, top 2 teams. For me, the Alpine car is very good this season. So yeah, we can only wait and see what is going to happen. I have a lot of faith for the McLaren. I have a lot of faith for the Haas to fight for top 5 in constructors. The Alpha Tauris are a little bit like shaky this year. Last year they were crazy fast. The Alfa Romeo of Valtteri Bottas is quite fast, because Valtteri is finally unleashed to do whatever he wants. The only cars that are like incredibly slow and for me they are like unfinished is the Aston Martin, is the Williams, and yeah, those 2 cars are, they didn't get any improvement, only Alex Albon, but this was purely the driver itself, not the car that much. The Alex Albon that managed to get a point, but the Aston Martins, they are absolutely terrible, and Lance Stroll is having the worst 3 races, and yeah, I don't personally like Lance because yeah, it's we all know how he get into Formula 1. Actually, something funny here, they didn't remove Nico Hülkenberg from the driver standings. But yeah, that's, they forgot about it probably. So just final to say about Checo Perez is I can only hope that Sergio can have the chance to not be a supporting driver, but to let him race, to let him do his job, to keep his car improvements together with the Max car on track. And I mean, even if you are a fan of Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes, even if you are a fan of Ferrari, it's never a nice thing to see an opponent car DNF to catch fire, something like that. This is like, I mean, isn't the sport all about fighting till the last lap, putting every driver to the limit, putting the drivers to the limit, the cars to the limit? Don't you want to see like 3 or 4 cars fighting for a title? I mean, I don't know why people are happy when certain cars catch fire and DNF, or when certain car has an issue. Even if they hate that driver, even if they're not a fan of that driver, we should support the work of the engineers, and we should support every car, not the driver, but every car. We should support the race itself. We must support the every driver that is trying to fight for the championship, because this is what the sport is all about. If we don't want to see a dominance again, like it was Lewis Hamilton dominance for the last 7 years. I mean, if the season hasn't already started and you know that Lewis Hamilton was going to win, this was like 7 years in a row, and this is making the sport boring. But you saw in Jeddah the fight of Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc. Wasn't that fun to watch? It was extreme fun to watch. I mean, they were pushing to the limit, and this is what I want to see. This is what everyone should want to see by watching F1. So let's see what is going to happen in Imola. We are going to have I'm pretty sure that it's going to be a fun race. It's very cool track. It's Italy. So yeah, I'm going to finish the stream here, and I'm going to upload the video in the channel. So guys, thank you for watching the stream. I wish you to have nice rest of your day, and we are going to see you soon. So bye.